All right, welcome back, and this is Mark with Realize the Self. And in today's video, I'm going to go over what self-realization is, but not explicitly in my words. We're going to go into the words of Ramana Maharshi from Day by Day with Bhagavan, from the diary of DEVARAJA Mudaliar. And so, here we go. This is August 17th, 1946. This morning, a number of visitors arrived here, evidently returning from Pondicherry after darshan there on the 15th. One of them asked Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi, what is meant by self-realization? Materialists say there is no such thing as God or self, Bhagavan said. Never mind what the materialists or others say, and don't bother about self or God. Do you exist or not? What is your idea of yourself? What do you mean by I? The visitor said he did not understand by I his body, but something within his body. Thereupon Bhagavan continued, you must concede I is not the body, but something within it. See then from whence the I arises within the body. See whether it arises and disappears or is always present. You will admit there is an I which emerges as soon as you wake up, sees the body, the world, and all else, and ceases to exist when you sleep, and that there is another I which exists apart from the body, independently of it, and which alone is with you when the body and the world do not exist for you, as for instance in sleep. Then ask yourself, if you are not the same I during sleep and during the other states, are there two Is? You are the same one person always. Now which can be real, the I which comes and goes, or the I which always abides? Then you will know that you are the self. This is called self-realization. Self-realization is not, however, a state that is foreign to you, which is far from you, and which has to be reached by you. You are always in that state. You forget it and identify yourself with the mind and its creation. To cease to identify yourself with the mind is all that is required. One more time, because that one's super important. To cease to identify with the mind is all that is required. That is self-realization. It's incredibly simple, incredibly simple. We have so long identified ourselves with the not self that we find it difficult to regard ourselves as the self. Giving up this identification with the not self is all that is meant by self-realization. How to realize or make real the self? We have realized, regarded as real, what is unreal, the not self. To give up such false realization is self-realization. So when you watch the mind or you watch your emotions come and go, you watch the body grow old and decay and go, come and go. But what is it that does not come and go? That is the self. That is the awareness. That is the witness. That is the observer. That is you. In the evening after Prayana, a visitor asked Bhagavan how to control the wandering mind. He prefaced the question with the remark, I want to ask Bhagavan a question which is troubling me. Bhagavan replied after laughing, this is not peculiar to you. This is the question which is always asked by everybody and which is dealt with in all the books like the Gita. What way is there except to draw in the mind as often as it strays or goes outward and to fix it in the self, as the Gita advises? Of course, it won't be easy to do it. It will come only with practice or sadhana. The visitor said, the mind goes after only what it desires and won't get fixed on the object we set before it. Bhagavan said, everybody will go after only what gives happiness to him. Thinking that happiness comes from some object or other, you go after it. See from whence all happiness, including the happiness you regard as coming from sense objects, really comes. You will understand all happiness comes only from the self, then you will always abide in the self. And that's it. I added that in the book. That's a long quote. It's about a page and a half from that book. And it's incredibly powerful and a great explanation on self-realization directly from the master Ramana Maharshi. What's so amazing about him is he died around 1950. I'm not sure the exact year, but we have photos and videos and a lot of people that had direct experience with him, as opposed to those that existed hundreds of years ago or even thousands of years ago. He's really someone we have a lot of information and question and answers from, and he's incredibly amazing, enlightened guru, self-realized individual. And yeah, all happiness comes from the self. See from whence that happiness arises from. And so you could trace all that back to the self and realize the self. And he talks about giving up the false identification with the mind and the body by seeing what comes and goes, what is not real, that which comes and goes, and finding that which is real, which does not come and go, which is the self. And I think we all can, if you think back to it when you're a child, you can remember some sort of awareness. There may have been like looking up at the sky and seeing some birds, or there was a moment when you, in your childhood, I think all of us can trace it back, where there was awareness, there was something there that we just couldn't pinpoint or put our finger on. But if you think back to it and trace back to your childhood, you can see that there was a period of time when we were all self-realized, but then as we grew older and became more immersed in the world and, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but impacted by the world, we snapped out of it and became more identified with the unreal, the mind and the body. And so and it corresponds to different brainwave states too. When you look at children, especially if I remember correctly, 0 to 2 you're in primarily delta brainwave state, and then 0 to 6 you're in theta, and then like 6 to 12 you're in alpha, and then after like 13 you're in a beta for the majority of your life. And once you get into that higher brainwave state, you're more in an anxiety, thinking, fight or flight type of state, always go, rather than the slower, in the moment, in the now. You're thinking about the past or the future. And so that's the faster brainwave state, but not quite as fast as gamma. Gamma would be a super fast, which is a whole different way of getting to that, which is quite interesting because that's more of the compassion, loving kindness, but it directly corresponds with self-realization, because the more you realize the self, the more you become immersed in the true self, in that awareness that you are, the more the heart opens up and those knots that bind the heart get unbound, and that helps release too a bunch of gamma brainwaves. It's really fascinating to learn about that. Dr. Joe Dispenza is really good about talking about that sort of stuff with I think it's a theta gamma brainwave sync. It's really the synchronization of those two produces transcendental experiences, and I go over in the book how to have those experiences. They're pretty easy, but the thing is, one just has to remember that they're only experiences. They aren't self-realization in itself. You're that which is aware even of those experiences that will come and go. So you're the awareness beyond everything, beyond brainwaves, beyond any experience that you could have that comes and goes. You are that which never comes and goes. You are the awareness. And so, yeah, that's it for this video. We're gonna make it short. I want to do a couple more here and get those out to you real quick. Thanks for being here, and see you in the next one.